Hello there, all of you beautiful people out there watching. Thank you so much for joining me again today. And if you're new here, my name is LaFebrus. Sydney if you're nasty or just trying to be polite. We love that here, politeness. Today is Friday, one of my favorite days of the week. And if you didn't know on this channel, on Fridays that I call Feelin Fine Fridays, we sit down, we have a discussion about something that we enjoy, or, well, I just talk to a camera about things that I enjoy. And yeah, it's a grand old time. We love it. Last week, I actually talked about a true crime series that I watched on Netflix. You can go check that out right up there. There. I think it's there. You can check that out. It was the crime scene, the disappearance at the Cecil Hotel. Today, we're going to be doing a bit of a different topic because this is actually something I've been wanting to talk about for a while and was potentially maybe going to incorporate it into the channel. Don't really know how I would, but it is something that very much interests me, so I wanted to talk about it on a Feelin Fine Friday, and that is languages. I find languages fascinating. Speaking of languages, we have this Italia Roscato, which is a rosé dulce or a sweet rosé. So we love it. Oh, that is good. That is juice. That is dangerous. You can check that out on my Instagram, where I post pretty much anytime I open up a new bottle of wine, I post it on Instagram, and that's what I drink in the video. So if I tell you guys about a new wine in a video, you can bet I've posted about it on Instagram. So go follow me on there. Anyway, back to the video. So languages is something that I genuinely enjoy. And I understand why a lot of people might not enjoy it as much as I do. I'm a bit of a weirdo in that I hate learning English grammar, but I love learning the grammar for other languages. And vocab for other languages is always fun. Don't ask me why I find that fun, but I do. And ever since I was young, I want to say like maybe middle school, I wanted to learn French in particular. I loved French and all things France. And especially Paris. I've always wanted to visit Paris. If you watched my New Year's resolutions Feelin Fine Friday, which I believe is the first Feelin Fine Friday I ever posted, talk a little bit in that video about how a goal of mine, not necessarily a New Year's resolution, but a goal of mine in 2021 is to travel. Now, granted, that is obviously dependent upon the current situation of the world, but if we can ever move past that, part of that for me was wanting to learn other languages, in particular French, because I really want to go to Paris. So I started studying other languages in middle school. And in high school, I picked French to really focus in on. And I took it all 4 years of high school. And I took a couple of college classes even after I graduated. And now I'm also taking Spanish college courses. It's something that I want to do. I want to know many languages. Hence why I'm taking Spanish, because A, it is such a useful language to know here in the US, and B, I want to know as many languages as possible, especially if you want to travel to a place like Europe where so many different countries are so closely located together and so many different languages are spoken. I think it's really useful to know all different types of languages. And so one of my goals in life, maybe not necessarily in 2021 or 2022 or, I'm not making this a New Year's resolution, but one of my goals in life is to become as fluent as I can in as many languages as I can. I actually use Duolingo, which I flippin' love. I love, can we talk about how much I love Duolingo? I really do love it. It's fantastic. But if you didn't know, Duolingo is a language learning app that you can pay a subscription for. So you can like pay like a monthly fee, a yearly fee, whatever. But you can pay for it. But it's also a free app, right? So it's kind of one of those things where you get some perks to pay for it, but you can still use it for free, which I love because a lot of language learning apps you can't even use without paying. Just point blank, period. You either have to pay for it in the App Store or in the Microsoft Store or whatever you use. You either have to pay for it right there or you have to, it's like it got in app purchases. So you can't really get far in learning your language without buying this. So, not sponsored, by the way. I want to make this very clear. I also listen to a bunch of language learning podcasts. So, if that's also your thing, there's all different kinds of ones that you can check out. You can literally just search in Spotify, the Apple podcast app, whatever you use to listen to podcasts. You can straight up just Google whatever language it is you're trying to learn, and maybe like podcast or learning or beginner or like anything like that, and you'll find something. You don't really need to invest a whole lot into learning a language. I mean, I kind of am because I'm taking college courses, but you don't have to do that. There are all different kinds of free resources out there if you do want to learn a language. The thing that I personally like about learning languages is just the fact that it's a skill that is slowly kind of becoming automated. There are all different kinds of like translator apps that you can put on your phone. You can have, translating earpieces and stuff like that. But I feel like that person to person connection that you can get when you don't need a translator app or you don't need an earpiece or you don't need an interpreter or somebody that can act as an in-between, when you don't need that and you just get that person to person interaction, I think, well, maybe we're not getting it right now, but eventually, again, someday, when you get that person to person interaction, I think it's a lot different than when you need to use tools and resources to communicate. It's also something that I would really like to pass on to my children, should I have them ever. I don't know, but you never know what the future holds. I don't want to make any promises, but if I were to ever have kids, it is absolutely 100% a skill that I would want to be able to teach them and expose them to young. I would want to be able to speak other languages around my children. I would want them to be able to be exposed to other languages and pick those kinds of things up and not really think twice about it. Because let's be real, learning a language is hard. It's not easy. It requires so much time and effort and commitment. It's a different world when you're learning a foreign language because you're basically starting from scratch. You're basically learning how to communicate from the zero end of the spectrum. Like, you know nothing, and you have to get to a point to where you can communicate like you can now, but in your native language. So that just becomes really weird. I mean, even knowing a good bit of French, if I were to want to have a conversation with somebody, it would not be a fluid conversation at all because I would literally, I would have to be paying such intense, close attention to what they're saying to even slightly comprehend what they're trying to tell me, and then I would have to literally sit there and in my head translate my response. It wouldn't be a fluid conversation. So learning language, it's rough and it's a time commitment, but it's something that I've always really been interested in, and it's something that I really need to start putting more time and commitment into it. It is something that I really would like to put the time and effort into. I was recently trying really hard to put more time and effort into it, and then school. I was getting really into it there for a while. Things like, taking notes. Like I have like a whole notebook that I'm dedicating to like different languages that I'm learning and notes for them so that I can kind of like take note of certain things. Especially for languages like Japanese and Russian, so that you can kind of notate on the alphabets and the writing style and word order, because even just things like that are so different in languages like that. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about languages. Would you like to learn another language? That'd be pretty dope. Would you like me to incorporate languages into this channel somehow? I don't necessarily know how I would, but I would love to hear your guys' ideas on how I could. I'm not a teacher, so I'm not going to do like learning French, because I just don't feel like even after 5 years of French in high school, a couple years of French in college, I still feel like I am in no way, shape, or form qualified to be teaching other people. But if you have some kind of idea on how to incorporate languages into the channel, for languages you might like to learn, let me know in the comments down below on that as well. Because that would honestly be something I'd be super interested in hearing and maybe implementing into my channel. So let me know what you think down below. Like this video if you want to see more from me for these Feelin' Fine Fridays, because that's how I know you guys are having a good time. And if you want to see more from me as far as Feelin' Fine Fridays go, hit that subscribe button, because I do this every Friday, and in between Fridays, I play games. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday night, your weekend, your week, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you when I upload again. Bye!